If I am in my own dream, or perhaps this is a new dream.
Stop the music. Try a different dream. It'll work better. Go on.
If I am in my own dream, or perhaps a different dream. After the German Kaiser and the Turkish Sultan did not fulfill their promises, I felt I had nowhere to turn. I wrote Alt Neuland, the old new land, to prove to myself and to others that my idea of a Jewish state was indeed within reach. In my book of dreams, Zionism prevails, the Jewish problem is solved, and the land of Israel becomes a model society for the entire world to emulate. There is a thriving economy, a flourishing culture, and all Jews are responsible for one another. But reality intrudes on every dream, for better or worse. I know that today you face daily hardships, a growing social gap, the devastating damages of a prolonged war. You worry about the future. In this whirlwind of yours, everything is turbulent. There's no time to stop and consider what we wanted and what we've achieved. But if you would stop for just a moment and take a deep breath, you'll discover that you're in the midst of a miracle. One you've created with your own hands and which is still evolving. I wrote a book, and you've created a state. A Jewish state that isn't a literary invention, but a living, breathing state recognized by the entire world. In my book, the new Jewish society bought its charter from the Turkish Sultan. But in reality, only the slaughter of European Jewry brought the nations of the world to recognize the right of the Jews to their ancient land. How could I possibly have imagined that the enlightened German people that I once so wished to be a part of was capable of such horrors, murdering millions, annihilating? My own daughter, Trudy, was killed there. I'm not sure you all know that when I wrote Alt Neuland, there was a debate as to whether or not the Jews might rightfully be called a people. While today, it is clear to everyone that we are a member of the family of nations. In this we have triumphed. From a persecuted minority, we have become a people with a state. This alone has made it all worthwhile. We're on the map and we're going to stay on the map in sports and everything. In the state I dreamed of, there was no need for an army. But in reality, you had to fight. Will it ever end? In my vision, Aliyah was orderly. Each community choosing its best and sending them to a land that awaited them. With electric plows, commercial infrastructure, and choice homes planned by tough architects. But you had to sneak in like thieves in the dark, against all odds. In tiny ships and flying carpets, sleeping in leaking tents and settlements put up overnight. Wave after wave, millions of new immigrants, a dream come true. More than that, the state of Israel. I said to the world's leaders, allow us to be a people like every other. But in truth, I believed we would be much better. The state I planned is different from the one you live in. The ideal state I envisioned was an exemplary model of a just society, tolerant and progressive. Though my dream may not have yet been realized, it is certainly within your reach. In the new society that I proposed, the Arabs living here were equal partners in this social vision. The ideal is still important. A people that has suffered so as a persecuted minority must know how to treat the minorities within its midst with respect. In the state I planned, nationalism was never extreme, and there was no display of power and domination. In my state, there was no such occupation as professional politician. You've managed to establish a style of government I can't even begin to understand. In my book, modern technology was triumphant, but even I couldn't have imagined the profusion of Israeli high-tech achievements. The smallest chip in the world, electronic imaging, all the brilliant creations of Israeli companies. Amdocs, Converse, LO, Checkpoint. Did you know that ICQ was an Israeli inspiration? In Alt Neuland, I described revolutionary scientific concepts, even though I didn't fully understand them. Like bacteriology, or the interrelation between agriculture and industry, because here I knew that it would all be possible. Fiction? Who could have imagined 100 years ago that the best irrigation computer would grow out of Israel's desert? Who would have believed that a rug weaver from Iran and a goldsmith from Yemen would be exporting medical know-how worldwide? That Israel would be aiding poor nations in Africa? I believed it. I believe I wouldn't be incorrect in saying that the hundreds of projects of Israel's research institutes constitute a list of the world's challenges. Naturally, I'm thrilled to have discovered that some of what I wrote has become reality. The Dead Sea Works, the Hadera Power Station, the Haifa Port. They're a full-color realization of a black and white dream. The citizens of my Alt Neuland attended German operas and French theater and engaged in British sports. But in reality, the theater here presents Shakespearean tragedies in Hebrew. Hebrew, a dead language that I didn't think could be used to purchase a train ticket, and today it's used to compose original Hebrew plays. All in all, it appears that you've created a special mixture of East and West. Perhaps the clearest sign of our being a nation like all nations. A nation with a culture of its own. Looking at you today, I can only say that you've opened horizons before me that I never conceived of, even in my dreams. Stop for a moment to look back. You'll discover that there were always complaints here, that people haven't always been patient, that not everything's been an overnight success, but there has always been eternal hope. It would have been impossible to do any of this without faith. Impossible. You've built the ground floor. And now onwards, there are more floors to be built. More cars to be added to our train of dreams. I've said it all before. All human deeds have begun with a dream, and dreams shall they become. And if you would but will it, it shall be no dream. I just don't know if this beard is for me.